Tonight on Legislative Review, we take a look at what's coming up this week in the legislature. And a Senate committee hears a bill that could change how cannabis is advertised by retailers. Plus, exterior siding on buildings. That's coming up on Legislative Review. Thanks for joining us for Legislative Review. I'm Mike Bay, standing in for Angela Nolasco.
Hearing no objections, so ordered.
The week of February 10th through 14th is the fifth week of the 2025 session. The focus of legislative committees is shifting.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Civil Rights and Judiciary.
They're still hearing lots of bills, but they're also voting on lots of bills, with a February 21st deadline looming for House and Senate committees to vote on bills in the Chamber of Origin, with the exception of budgets and budget-related bills. On Monday, a Senate committee hears a package of cannabis-related bills, and legislators in another committee discuss the creation of several new specialized license plates, recognizing Mount St. Helens, Smokey the Bear, the Seattle Reign FC women's soccer team, and more. Tuesday, you can check out public hearings on bills aimed at managing end-of-life electric vehicle batteries and increasing public school students' reading and math skills.
My word is laser.
Wednesday, a public hearing on a bill to regulate the use of self-checkout stations in grocery stores. Plus, both the House and Senate have floor sessions scheduled for Wednesday. Thursday, the public is invited to testify on a bill to restrict the use of student restraint and isolation in schools. Friday is a busy day. Committees will hear bills to prohibit the sale of flavored vape products, allow electric vehicle dealers to sell direct to consumers in our state, and a bill dealing with the management of grizzly bears in Washington.
Senate Bill 5206 concerning cannabis retailer advertising.
A new bill reviewed by the Senate Labor and Commerce Committee Monday could change how cannabis stores advertise in Washington. Senate Bill 5206 aims to allow cannabis retailers to display more signs outside their shops, increasing the current limit from 2 to 4. It also gives local governments the power to regulate signs showing store names. Proponents say that currently, state law heavily limits cannabis advertising, but this bill loosens some restrictions. Signs that are smaller than 512 square inches and don't show cannabis products or brands would be exempt from most rules. However, ads still can't promote alcohol and tobacco or appear in liquor or vape shops. Under the bill, retailers must also make clear that products are only for customers 21 years of age and older. The bill was sponsored by Republican Senator Drew McEwen. Supporters of the bill, mostly retailers, say they find current cannabis advertising regulations cumbersome. Shay Hines of the Washington Cannabis Licensee Association.
Many times I've had enforcement officers tell me directly, I wish we didn't have to deal with this. It just takes up so much of our time. If local jurisdictions oversaw this, the LCB could focus on larger issues such as diversion that are really actually affecting our industry and, quite frankly, the youth.
Other proponents believe that the Liquor and Cannabis Board's enforcement resources are restricted when it comes to signage, and that this bill will help address that. Vancouver cannabis retailer Sarah Eltinge.
When the LCB issues a mandate for correction, a non-compliant businesses often respond by filing lawsuits that can linger in the legal system for years. Meanwhile, compliant businesses incur unnecessary expenses and time correcting minor issues. By transferring the responsibility of signage enforcement to local jurisdictions, Senate Bill 5206 would allow the LCB to redirect its resources towards more pressing violations that genuinely affect public safety and regulatory integrity. This shift could lead to more effective oversight.
But critics of the bill argue that this responsibility shouldn't be placed on the state. Linda Thompson of the Washington Association for Substance Misuse and Violence Prevention.
Coalitions across our state have told us at WASAP that they are seeing issues with their own sign ordinance in their communities because it will take time and resources for their local counties and cities to address the changes and be responsible for the signage.
Also voicing her opposition, Edmonds resident Gay Lynn Baton said it would only promote cannabis abuse among youth.
The problem is that the perception of harm from using cannabis is decreasing, especially among youth and young adults whose brains are vulnerable to cannabis injury. Please do not pass 5206 out of committee. Please protect the mental health of our youth and young adults. Thank you.
During the hearing, the committee also discussed a bill that, if enacted, could change how alcohol is taxed, potentially affecting price, revenues, and industry regulations, and a bill that aims to remove the 24-liter limit on single alcohol sales for specific liquor licensees.
Good afternoon, everybody. Calling the Senate Local Government Committee meeting to order.
The Senate Local Government Committee convened Monday afternoon for a public hearing on a bill that could affect how building designs are approved, specifically when it comes to exterior cladding or siding, the protective layer applied to the outside of a building to enhance its appearance. The bill, Senate Bill 5571, proposes to limit local governments or design boards from making rules about what kind of exterior cladding materials can or can't be used in construction, as long as those materials meet the state's safety and building code standards. However, private communities like homeowners associations would still have the right to regulate those materials. According to the bill, the approval process for exterior cladding could slow down new developments, including housing projects, because developers would have to navigate a patchwork of local design rules which could vary from city to city. Proponents say it would create a more consistent set of rules around exterior cladding and avoid confusion or inconsistencies with the state building code, eliminating red tape, reducing the cost, while increasing the speed of construction and making housing more affordable. Democratic State Senator Jessica Bateman sponsored the bill.
We're seeing some cities prohibit these types of siding that can be more cost-effective and more efficient for builders and developers that want to do it. We're also seeing them create more stringent processes, like allowing the more expensive materials to not have to go through design review and then having these ones go through design review. So if they've met the building code requirements, they're safe and they're easy, they can be used, I think that we should allow them.
Testifying in favor was Andrea Smiley of the Building Industry Association of Washington.
Design standards drive up price, and that is what's locking out a lot of our Washington families from home ownership and affordable rentals. So we are here in support. Thank you.
The bill also received support from Polymeric Exterior Products Association, a vinyl siding manufacturer.
We've seen jurisdictions either adding additional design requirements, making them go through additional design review processes for certain types of materials, while perhaps having the more expensive ones be approved outright. And what our association is seeing is that oftentimes this can add up to $20,000 on top of the unit if we're doing the more expensive ones or if we're delaying the development of that. This is a very important piece of legislation as we are trying to tackle affordability and making sure people have options moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Seeing no questions, that ends this hearing.
No one testified to oppose the bill. To watch the full hearings featured in this episode, along with gavel-to-gavel coverage of this session's legislative activity, log on to tvw.org.